Peace, peace, peace. Everyone, welcome back. I am ChiVital, and I am here to remind you that we are now moving further into the energy of this full moon eclipse. And I wanted to, first of all, make sure that you all were still on the right vibration. We talked about that yesterday. Um, but also to give you all some guidance in regards to how to maximize on this energy, regardless of whether you are participating in the Guan Yu or the Kubeta rites. Um, I really love doing work with the ancestors. So I have some offerings for you all who may be interested, but I wanted to just give you some encouragement. So as you're tuning in, please thumbs up this video. Y'all already know that helps the algorithm go. So yeah, welcome back. Peace, 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 peace. Peace, Emerald. Peace, every bit of Jackie. What's up, my fairy gang? All right. So I want to talk about some of the things that you can do to help align you with this energy for this weekend. The 24th going into the 25th is when we actually are going to be hitting the peak points of the energy of the full moon. And just talk about your role when it comes to this work. Okay. So what we do understand, you're going to hear this all the time. So I'm going to run through this part pretty quickly, is that when we have a full moon, we have a culmination of certain cycles, and that culmination is a completion, and we're able to then release so that we can make space for the new. But we're not just releasing, like just tossing and getting away, or giving things away, right? The release is happening, meaning that things that you have been working on already also are going to be released into your hands, released into your present environment. So it's not just like a clearing of everything and now you're starting from scratch. You actually are now able to see signs of your work coming to life, coming to fruition, the seeds that you have already planted. Pardon the delay there. Um, yes, we have 122 people here present. Welcome, welcome, all the new people. So thumbs up this video, please, and thank you, and check it out for yourself. All right. Um, I digress, because I got a crazy, weird phone call just now. Your role, in the full moon. Okay, full moon energy. So I was talking about you being able to start to see the materialized version of the work that you've been doing. Okay. There's also this great illumination to some of the things that you were able to see a little bit, but now you're able to see even more clearly because you have the aspect of the light and you also have the magnetism of energy, right? Which is pulling things forward. So where certain situations, let's call situations, they're like people, right? Energetically, they hold their own frequency, their own emotion around them. So we're not talking about just individuals, we're talking about situations. And comparing the situations to being people. When the moon is full in her body, right? She can pull out more information that was more subtle or resting deep within. You as an individual, right? You'll feel like whatever has been kind of gnawing at you or trying to push you in a particular direction, the part that has been um, holding you back or creating a sense of hesitation, clear. And the biggest gift of this intensity or this intensified light on what is hiding underneath the surface, holding you back, you holding yourself back, um, is that through the intensity, if you manage to sit through it and face it and make sincere decisions at this point, following the hints, the clues, and the slaps in the head, right? Um, to follow through with that guidance, you're going to experience rapid growth, rapid ascension, and increased in your gifts and the necessary tools for you moving forward. Okay. This is like, I guess we'll talk about, since we're talking about moons, right? You know, with giving birth, I found that with the greater intensity of the laboring portion was that the faster the child came. Whereas when the intensity was more mild, it took a longer time for everything to get into alignment, right? For the contractions to do what they needed to do, for my cervix to thin so that the baby can have a little more space, although it's like such an incredible miracle to me anytime I think about it, passing through that way, right? Um, but through the intensity, we are able to have greater gains, right? It's like if you want to see your body change, if you go 3 days a week, it's going to take you longer to get those results. But if you pick up the intensity and now you're going 6 or 7 days a week, you're going to start seeing results almost immediately. And it's the same way with working with this energy and just doing some of the shadow work. At this time, the full moon provides us with the energy and the insight to have greater aha moments with our shadow work. Um, some of the information or the guidance that came through is that um, these things that happen suddenly, some of the surprises that come your way, I'm not going to say that they're all going to be like wonderful surprises, but if they kind of do create a sense of startledness, feeling kind of thrown off a bit, or really trigger you in some way, it's a good time for you to embrace that intensity that you feel when you're triggered. And when I say embrace it, I mean to embrace it in such a way that you're grounding, you're able to ground it. Like it hits you like electricity, and you're able to be the earth. Okay? Understand? Press one if you understand. Some of the fear for a lot of people when they are sitting in meditation or they've just been contemplating making certain decisions, some of the fear is that where they want to go resides in spaces that are unfamiliar to them. Um, and so there's this sense of discomfort, but it's actually a place that you feel a yearning to go towards. This is not like making a major decision in regards to doing something that you feel is risky and dangerous for you. It's risky only because it's new. There's a familiarity that you feel, um, and you're choosing to go in the flow of things, although they may be very different from what you're used to doing. And the quicker you decide to choose to fearlessly follow that thing that's drawing you forward, is the better you are. That is your victory. You don't need to necessarily understand or know what the end result is, because as we are evolving every day, we cannot call every single detail of our lives. But if you don't go forward, you already lose. Okay? In regards to working with the ancestors at this time, um, a lot of us realize or have accepted that who we are and what we're doing in the space of spirituality has a lot to do with finishing certain things for our families and our bloodlines, healing and tapping into some of our supernatural gifts. Actually, I saw somewhere where it was called supernormal gifts, and I like that because these are gifts that we are born with. It's just a matter of doing the work to cultivate them. So it's not like, I've said this before. It's not like, oh, here, take this pill and now you're going to be able to fly and you have wings on your ankles. Um, and you can pull cash money out your ass. I mean, that's not it, right? There's definitely this work that has to be done. Um, Sounds, eating styles, opening up the body, taking care of this vessel. This is the instrument. And if you want the instrument to play the type of frequency that is necessary for the life that you desire, and you have to treat it well. Okay? It's all inclusive. It's a wholesome approach. But with your ancestors and some of these agreements that you've said unknowingly, right? When you've said, I am my ancestors' dream. I am completing these things for my ancestors. Truth be told, right? When you said those things out of your mouth, you have created certain contracts. And some of those contracts have you wasting time on what it is that you came to do for your soul. Okay? And you'll begin to see it when you realize that having made those particular contracts, you're experiencing more of some of the things that your ancestors have experienced or they lived out through their belief systems. And not belief systems just like religiously, but belief systems as far as how they relate to life, to their world, to family, to work, to cleanliness, to where you live, right? And it doesn't serve you. Some of you really, really need to move from where you live right now. But you said something that committed you to finishing this work of some of your ancestors. And so you stay in the same city, the same country, the same area, sometimes the same house that your ancestors grew up in, not because you really want to stay there, but because you're trying to leave and you can't leave because you haven't addressed that. And so during this time, when something like that comes up, you have access to removing that from your plate so that you can move on. Okay? You can move on. Um, some of you have ideas of um, particular things you want to do with your career. You might have learned new skills, a little bit here, a little bit there, but it feels like there's more for you in that. But the way that you've been set up, you have felt that you can't go into that field of work because it doesn't match up with how your ancestors have indoctrinated you with the idea of how to finance yourself or what this family does. You might look around and see, oh, like everyone's a teacher, everyone's a doctor, everyone, like you have these different groupings, and you feel deeply inside your spirit like you want to fly airplanes. And so some of those commitments that you've made, you need to undo them. And now would be that time, okay, to fearlessly go and sign up for that aviation course, to go and look into opening up your mom and pop brick and mortar store. Although the whole rest of your family has been in government and corporate government jobs with hella security, okay? Now is the time to address some of those unintentional contracts that stimulate or they feed the fear of you taking those next steps forward, that you kind of see like a ladder that's taking you up higher. All right. Once you get through that wall of fire, which is fear, and you choose your courage, and you choose the wisdom of the highest thing on the planet in your existence. It's not outside of you. It is your Ori, right? Your Ori is going to give you guidance if you listen and you take a moment to realize, oh, this is not like an emotional thing. Like, okay, start talking to that. Ask for signs if you haven't even received them yet, because they happen so quickly. Okay? Now, where your ancestors are, they rely heavily on what you provide them. And I want to talk about the colors that I want you to wear and why, if you're going to participate in some of the rituals that I will offer to each of you privately. Okay? Where they are, they've gotten there from off of their own merit. Okay? There's no one there providing light, providing food, providing the currency or resources that they need to navigate in that realm, unless it's you or someone else in your family that is doing ancestral work. All right. Um, so, with that being said, you want to participate in the ritual that is offered to individuals, and I'll put you can put my number in the chat, okay, to hit me up about that. The first thing is they always are going to need some finances. They don't have a way of making any money while they're there unless you're sending it, okay? Unless you're setting them up with it. There are other items that can be sent on their behalf. Clothes, phones, homes, cars. But at the basis of that is money. Okay, and this is going to help with clearing some of that negative karma that eats away at your ability to receive the courage, the energy, and the resources to move forward, move forward, move forward. All right. Now, I want you all to think about wearing white and the reason why. A lot of times we see um, white as just a sign of purity, but in old times, right, when people went through the dying process, they were wrapped in white cloth, which represents death, right? When you are wearing white with the intention of connecting with the ancestors, this is a symbolic placement of you being a light and going into this world of death and transformation to communicate more clearly so that the messages can come through and you can see more clearly. When you see folks doing work with the ancestors, a lot of times, unless you go into another society, which is Egungun, which gets different because that's galactic, right? Um, everyone is wearing white. Okay, it's the shroud. The shroud is white, wrapping it up. Okay. Um, Also, the color white is connected with the moon. Yesterday, I spoke on ceremonial magic and moving into a space where you match the frequency of the work that you're doing. You want to have the colors present with the planets that are involved. Okay. Um, the other thing is that um, white bleeds out, right? So it reflects away certain energies so that while you're in this ecliptic energy and managing your own energy and motion, aka emotions, and things come up, you'll be able to ground yourself better in your own space. So it's like you're being able to be all around the energies that are present, that are coming and going, and not absorbing them so much. You'll have this protective field around you. All right. Um, yes. So if you would like to participate, this is not something new. Every now and then I offer the ancestral um, money rights to anyone who's interested to assist with the workings that you are already doing, but to also do readings to see if there's anything in particular that needs to be addressed. You can text me at 202-810-1876 and I got you. It's going to be a range in price, but trust me, there's definitely a sale going on. And you should be good on that. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. Y'all, this is going to be a very prosperous weekend, leading us for the next couple of months, several months. Um, don't forget the connection with the moon and money. Um, so it's a sweet time. I'm still on my little soft spokenness because I am nursing my little bugger cold. But I am staying hydrated, um, and taking care of my well being. So I feel good. I do feel good. And I want to remind you all that no matter what is frustrating you, ground it, ground it, look at it, don't turn away from it, don't be afraid of it. Just don't try to scrapple with it, okay? It's not the time. I said scrapple. That food looks like a fight anyway. Don't try to grapple with it, okay? And if you feel like you're having a hard time at all, um, with transitioning from where you're at to where you're going, hit me up. 202-810-1876. I look forward to helping you out with that. I will have a special mantra for those of you who are interested in breaking up breaking up with some of this bad karma that is attached to you via your ancestors and some of the soul contracts you've made with them. So let me know if you're interested. I will check and see if it's for you, and we'll move from there. Okay? Peace, love, and bliss. I look forward to seeing all of the beautiful pictures of your work from this weekend in both groups. Peace.